Hey guys, I have to say I do apologise to everyone who has been waiting for my latest vid. I've tried a few times to get a video out and just life gets in the way. Okay, so where do I start? It's been nearly 3 months. I do apologise, I really do. It's just crazy times, so many things going on. Yeah, look, it's an exciting time to be alive. But at the same time, it's also a little bit, a little bit of trepidation. There's a little bit of what's going to happen next. There's so much uncertainty. Just we basically went through COVID to let's go back to normal. No, new normal. Okay, what's new normal look like? Okay, it looks like this. No, it looks like that. So we've got supply chains disruption again. We've got all sorts of stuff going on, and in the meantime, we're just trying to all get along and keep moving on and keep our heads up, well, chins up, so to speak. Okay, so seriously, guys, the only way you can face what's going on is just with humor. I mean, humor is your best defense. It's armor against depression. It's armor against stress and worry. It helps. It's not the cure, but it certainly does help. All right. So, as I said, I've been trying to get a few videos out. I've got quite a few different ones where I started and didn't quite get there for one reason or another. So just thought I'd start with something really simple. Someone donated this via the Nature Strip exchange program, where people just put it out on the Nature Strip and hope someone picks it up and uses it before it goes to landfill. Something that's very common in Australia, like extremely common. Probably more so than most other countries. People from other countries get a bit weirded out with how much stuff is on the nature strips. Like, you literally can't drive through a suburb without going through at least 10 piles of stuff where people have put it out just to go through before it gets picked up and chucked out. Anyway, enough of that. Getting on to this. Okay, so for this one, I've decided to go with something a bit different. Now, selfish reasons, I am looking for a motor to replace this. This is an Audi Ferris or Ferrix. Look, I've got 3 of these. They do really well, except unfortunately the problem is the motor. You can get 10 minutes work out of this, not a problem. Maybe 15, but if you go for 20, you swap batteries, you go for 20 minutes, it burns out the little motor, little DC motor in there. So I've got 3 now with burnout motors, all right? I mean, technically 4. I turned 1 to start with and got a replacement, but it just, when it kept happening, it was like, okay, it's not a one-off, it's a design error. It's the only problem. Look, these are $50 and they are really handy. If you're going camping or you're out bush or you're on the road, these are great for just, making a few small cuts. Any more than that, they're not designed for heavy duty work. They really aren't. But on saying that, I'm running the batteries that run on these. I'm actually running so many things on that battery system. I mean, it's just Audi make it way too easy to spend money on that sort of stuff. Yeah, I've got almost all the toys in the collection, I think. Not quite, but yeah. I even picked up a misting fan the other day from my car, but don't really need it at the moment because it's not summer. But yeah, I overheat, unfortunately. Way too easy. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, it is a old Black & Decker 9.6 volt. Now, let's see what we can find out about this. So these were pretty common back in the day to have 9.6 volt and also a nice little stubby battery that sort of went up the handle. All right, or that's technically known as a post battery, I believe they're called. Anyway, so I even managed to get a charger with it. So look, they're worth, I don't know, if you've got the room, they're worth keeping all the different types of those in a box, just because it's so much easier. It's not that they're worth anything, it's just that if you needed one of these, it's so much, look, the amount of mucking around, you could 3D print it, you could modify, you can make it out of timber and wires and whatever else. But the fact that if you've got room and they cost you nothing, it's worth having a tub of them, just so, if nothing else, trade item if you don't end up using it. Now these, I'm a bit dubious to which type of battery this is. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there. Oh no, it's CD. There we go. Yep, it is an old nickel cadmium battery. The cadmium is a dangerous heavy metal to humans, and also the environment. So that one there is probably. Look, the one thing I will say is that those batteries have a shelf life of 25 years or 30 years or something ridiculous. So unless the actual cells inside burn out, in my experience, they will be sub-C size batteries, which is very, very common in that particular era. In the 80s and 90s, that was pretty much all you could get. And you can still go down to your local electronics store and buy sub-Cs, and they come with nickel straps already, already spot welded onto them. And yeah, you're not supposed to solder them unless you go with low heat solder. I believe you can get some good results with that. All right, so then going on to this is it's an official Black & Decker one. There we go. It is 12 volts, but it's only 0.3 of an amp, so it's 300 milliamp. Okay, so that's pretty low for a 12 volt, but hey, it's not too bad. I mean, it means it's not going to overheat. It's nice and heavy. That I'm definitely going to straight to the pour. Oh, it's going to be a keeper. What I do is I clean them up and roll them up and put them in a sandwich bag, and then I have a couple of tubs of these, so you never know which one you're going to need. So yeah, interesting. It's worth keeping. All right, so put them aside. What I'm going to be doing is pulling that apart with the good old Phillips head. This is this is coming from an era a bit. Oh, there we go. Got a bit in there as well. Now this did come with this. I mean, this is obviously an elder gentleman. It came in the cardboard box. It still had everything there. The only real issue with it is the battery is not the right battery for here. So the battery was actually, I want to show you. I couldn't get the battery to fit. It didn't actually, oh no, it is right. Oh, well, I have just been, yeah, okay, I've just outed myself. Should do my research, shouldn't I? Okay, so I'll just get rid of that. No. Okay, bit of a tight fit. All right, so even came with one of those. But what I wanted to show you guys is I went and got this. I have never seen one before. I thought, yep, it's one of those little silly tools I just had to have. I think it cost $3 or $4. Now, I actually have an account with Temu, which some of you has already just gone, oh, no, not Temu. I've heard horror stories about it. Yes, I've heard people getting ripped off and everything else. And even Temu say that it comes with a warning, don't trust anyone except for, basically only from them, because apparently there has been some nefarious activity going on with people's money. So what I would suggest is, what I do is I pay with PayPal. I don't do anything other than PayPal. I've never given my credit card details over to Temu, because it's with PayPal. PayPal are very, very good at protecting the buyer, and same with eBay. They protect the buyer, not so much the seller, but they very do focus on the buyer. All right, so this comes from Temu. Temu have really sped things up. Their delivery system now it's around about 1 week, roughly, from China. So if I get something from eBay, I'm waiting to 4 to 6 weeks, and that's fine. I don't mind doing that, especially if I'm paying the cheaper price. But when I'm buying something from Temu, now they have upped their minimum to $40. So to get free delivery, they want you to spend at least $40 on stuff. And, $40, I can get 17 items usually, because I just buy little things, buy one of something to try it out. But, yeah. Anyway, so, by the way, that goes in there, guys, just in case anyone didn't know. So that just takes the, I'd say, maybe that size. Let's see. Yep, that seems like it's working fine. Distracting myself. Yeah, no, that looks, might need the bigger one. Yep, no, the bigger one would be better. Anyway, try that out later on. All right, so I'm going to pull this apart, see what's in there. Like I said, I was really after the actual motor itself as a potential replacement. But I'll pull it apart and see what's in there. And yeah, so there we go. All right, I'll do some work and I'll get back to you. Okay, so after mucking around with that battery, it was and wasn't the right one. So what I mean by that is that this is an aftermarket one that was purchased to maybe try and give this extra life after the original battery died. It is a nice little drill. It actually fits in the hand, balances quite well. So this one here, it looks like it's actually quite fresh. It's quite new. There's not a lot of scratch marks. There's a lot of scratch marks where it doesn't quite fit. So it takes a lot of strength to actually insert it, and takes a heck of a lot more to get it out. And I think that's what was the final tipping point. So I got a feeling this is a new battery, so I won't pull this one apart because I got a feeling that'll charge up and power something. It could have been just a matter of shaving a bit of plastic off here. May have salvaged the problem. But yeah, these are almost brand new. Where the contacts are, there's not a lot of wear and tear on those, which means it hasn't been inserted many times. All right, so now taking one of these apart, you take all the housing screws off, and these are such old school. They're all the way. They're actual machine screws, and they go all the way through. Don't know if you can see that. So there's actually nuts. There's little metal nuts that are embedded in the actual plastic housing. This is how they used to make stuff, guys. All right. Now, the exception was with that one there. That actually was a sheet metal screw, you know, as in the thread, sheet metal thread, that went straight into the housing. So that takes a slightly different amount of force to get it out. But then, of course, you've got to take the chuck off. Now, for those that don't know how to do it, what you do is you open the chuck all the way up, and then there's a screw down there, and I'm in luck, this one has not been stripped out. And then we go counterclockwise. Let's see if I can do this. It is literally just counterclockwise, so I'm turning, there you go slowly, so you see, it feels like I'm going the wrong way. But that's so it doesn't undo when the drill is in operation. So you have to be careful if you're doing reverse. Come on, off you get. There we go. Now, I wonder if I can get her off. Tell you what, I might pause the video and get back to you in a sec. Okay, so took a little while, but I managed to get there. This here is the left-handed thread. What's commonly called left-handed thread. I'm sure it's got other names as well. And as far as the chuck's concerned, yeah, this little tool got a bit of a workout while I was mucking around, and I got to say it does okay. It's not going to be as strong and reliable as, say, the actual a tool like that. Look, that's a bit of solid metal, or metal with a yeah, it looks like it's one piece, maybe welded, not sure, but anyway, they're almost indestructible, almost. You lose them before you damage them, basically. But this, look, I'm not sure how strong the internals are, but it's certainly been working out okay so far. Got to say, I'm impressed with the versatility and the ease of it, and also, well, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of leverage. So far, so good with that. Okay, so now, getting the chuck off. So now that that retaining the left-hand threaded screw is off, it's a matter of getting the chuck off. Probably the easiest way is get yourself an old school Allen key, probably the biggest one that will fit in the chuck, and then you tighten the chuck all the way up, put the 3 teeth, or put it in the jaw and tighten it up as much as possible. Then, I don't know what the odds are, but this one is a normal thread, I think, to get it off. So I've tried before, hit it with a hammer and loosened it, and sure enough it comes off like this. I haven't taken it completely off just yet. Oh, there we go. So that there is how you take the chuck off, and then of course you just undo that again, and then these come in very, very handy. Plenty of old fellas that I've gone and visited have got a drawer full of those. As their drills die, that's probably the one thing they do keep. And I've seen some really amazing setups on lathes, homemade lathes, or a very heavily modified lathes, metal lathes, even wood lathes, but mainly metal lathes, where they use these, a quick and easy, there we go, quick and easy way to, basically, instead of going and paying for a heavily over-engineered piece of equipment, they just have a whole heap of different chucks, and they might even have another system where they have like a bolt, and like they might make the metal adapter plate a standard size, and so to replace the chuck, it's just a matter of loosening a couple of Allen keys, sliding the whole lot out, including the adapter key, or so adapter plate, and then sliding another adapter plate in with a different size chuck. It's, look, once you got yourself a lathe, you tend to get busy making stuff, even when you don't really need to, because you just want to use a lathe. All right, so now I get to the last bit, which is the in this case it's a what would you call that? It's 3 choices of the strength of the clutch before it gives way. So when you're actually using it, you don't want the motor to strip out, to keep pushing through and strip out a screw. You want this to cut off. So I prefer screwing and unscrewing by hand as much as possible, because you can feel it and you don't strip it out as much. But here you might have it on, say you're putting bugle headed screws into plasterboard, or what do you call it, sheetrock or drywall, what do you call it over in the States anyway. But when you do, you don't want to strip it out, because the plaster is very, very fine. You want it to, as soon as it gives a little bit of resistance, you want the bugle head to stop going in, and you don't want to actually damage the plaster. And so you'd actually get to choose which one. This is, I can't get over just how well preserved this is. It's obviously been sitting in the box in a shed for most of its life. All right, I'll tear that up and see what it's like inside. The next thing is it's a Black & Decker. Now, over here in Australia, Black & Decker is the cheap brand, or used to be the cheap brand, and DeWalt was our expensive brand, or our commercial brand. I believe in the States, Black & Decker's got a really good reputation for being heavy duty. Over in Australia, it was never a heavy duty thing. Back when it was a different owner, I think it was a dark green in colour. Black & Decker was always dark green, and then later on in life, which to me this looks like the 90s, it turned black. The casings were black for Black & Decker and yellow for DeWalt. Okay, so yep, here we go. Here we go, we've got a DeWalt just there. So we get yellow for DeWalt. And yeah, so the cost of something like this may have been, say, I don't know, $99 with the whole kit, everything in there back in the 90s. Whereas the DeWalt, that would have been like $300, $400, $500 for a DeWalt drill. They were like the bee's knees on the construction site. Like, they were the hardest hitting, and they hit really, really hard thanks to the old NiCad battery packs. They really do impact strongly. Okay, so getting back to this, I will do a bit of work and get back to you. Well, I was actually taking this apart quite gently. I was actually half considering refurbishing it and keeping it as a backup, but just so happens I took the front off, and then in my haste to get it apart, I realised, oh, hang on, I haven't actually taken the top section off, and as I tilted it forward, all the ball bearings decided that they wanted to come out and play. So I only caught half of them. So yeah, I'm thinking this might actually be, unfortunately, a permanent teardown. Oh, we'll see how we go. Okay, well, talking about a simple design, I got a feeling that they took, it definitely looks like it's from the 90s, where they actually just modified and simplified down to making the production run as cheap as possible. Yeah, I remember that prices kind of went down a little bit for a while, and maybe that's the reason why. So you've pretty much got a very, very basic setup. I don't hate this, because there's not a lot that can go wrong. It's robust, it's simple. Obviously there's a bit of expense. It's even got a reverse and forward switch. Yeah, look, it's pretty good. And I'm going to say, probably the cheapness actually was working in its favour because it was just robust and simple. However, I need to take the gearbox off, and that's when we'll see just the quality. Now, the actual motor looks half decent. It's about the same size as the one that I'm trying to replace. I don't know, I'll take the gearbox off and have a good look here, and we'll see how we go from there. Alrighty, so that was a bit of fun. Got in there, got it apart, had fun doing it, and I got all excited because it's got 3 metal gears here, a metal case, metal, oh, I don't even know what they are, okay. But then the last 3 were nylon. The first 3 were steel, then the last 3 were nylon. So got a bit excited, thought it was an all steel case, but no, it's not. That's the backing piece for the motor. All right, so yeah, look, it's quite well made. It feels really strong, but it's a toughened plastic case instead of steel. If you've ever pulled apart the DeWalt's, the gearbox in there, that's just amazing. That's solid stuff. However, good luck putting a DeWalt gearbox back together again from the actual drill, the hand drills. Yeah, about 10 minutes. Take 5-10 minutes to take one apart, and a couple of hours to put it back together, work out where everything goes. All right, so there's some decent hardware in here, though. I've got to say, like, that's actually, yeah, there's some decent bit of steel in there. They haven't scrimped on some parts. The parts that they needed to keep strong, they did. So I'm just looking for something to wipe my hands with. All right. Yeah, so all in all, good little unit. Would have been nice to keep it up and running, but yeah, with the loss of those bearings, I'm thinking it's going to be turned into an easy fix, easy overhaul into quite a large one. So I dare say it's probably not going to see the light of day again. All right, so it was, I probably should have told you at the start, a BD9231. So I'm thinking that stands for Black & Decker 9.6 volt, and 31 could end up being the, I don't know, the model number, the I don't know, basically what we call it, the edition number, or it could end up being something to do with the, well, could even be 3 could stand for the 300 milliamp, perhaps. The 1 could stand for the 10 mil chuck. Not too sure. I'm not sure how the Black & Decker did their model numbers back in the day. But yeah, look, all in all, it's, yeah, look, a bit of a shame to trash this one, but oh well, as I said, I really need this. Now, this turned out to be, well, there's not a lot of markings on this. You've got the company that made it, which is Johnson. They obviously had the contract for Black & Decker. Now, this was made in China at the time, so yeah, they probably would have just bought these in by the pallet loads. So this actually looks like quite a high quality motor. It's not burnt out, it doesn't smell, there's no burn marks. It looks like it's been underused or underutilized. I even took the sleeve off looking for markings. To those out there who know a little bit more about electrical stuff than me, why is it that a lot of DC motors have this sleeve on it? Almost all of them come out with a sleeve. Anything, you know, of a medium to large size has a sleeve on it. Probably a reason, other because it's not a structural thing. I'm just wondering whether it's something to do with the wiring or the actual energy, the electric fields. But yeah, feel free to chuck something in the comments, help us out there. Yeah, a good strong brass gear on there. And I've tended to put the actual mounting screws over the years. I've never really bothered putting them back in, but now I'm starting to, because in case I want to use it, it's just a starting point. It might end up being that I need different length screws than that, but it's at least a good starting point to say that the screws are there ready to go. I'll tell you what, this doesn't look like a 9.6 volt motor. This looks larger. I assume this is probably a 12 or a 16 volt that they've put in. A little bit extra cost, but it means that it can handle the torque, the actual overusage, or the yeah, I mean, it was really a home use drill. It wasn't like a construction site drill, but it looks like they've over engineered it by putting in a motor bigger than they needed, simply so it didn't fail so quickly. So I'm going to have a look at that and try and work out what it actually is, because there's nothing on here and anywhere on the drill to say what sort of voltage it is, other than the fact that it runs quite well off 9.6 apparently. So yeah, I might connect it up. Now these, what I was actually looking to replace it with, these are actually 20 volt, so don't know if that's going to work out too well. That might not be strong enough to take 20 volts in. Might work, but I don't know how long for, because 20 volts is quite a big jump from 9.6. All right, yeah. So look, at the end of the day, it may end up being fit for purpose. I don't know. I also have to look at the actual size of the, what would you call that, the shaft, spindle, probably shaft, because if it's the same size as the hardware inside the angle grinder, I might have a bit of a play with it and see if it'll work out. It looks to be about the size. I've already taken one of these angle grinders apart, and it looks to be about the right size, but much easier to modify a plastic case than it is to make an engine a bit smaller. Oh, sorry, a motor a bit smaller than what it is. So, all right, we'll see how we go. Anyway, guys, so that was the model. As far as scrap's concerned, there's not a lot. Look, these metal gears, they're fun, they're handy. Look, if you've got people who, you know, are into metal artwork and stuff like that, I'm sure that there's, you know, oh god, that looks quite space sci-fi-ish. I'm sure you could have some fun and build stuff out of that. All right, so I've got a half decent little chuck. Yeah, these ones are actually made quite well. They're made to take a fair bit of treatment. So if you were to buy like a cheap one off eBay for $3 and it comes all the way from another country, I'm tipping that it won't last as long as one of these will. All right, just hang on a sec, guys. Sorry for the interruption. I record a message to say goodbye. What the hell? Anyway, yeah, ever since I've given my information to certain government departments and certain other companies for various different reasons, I tend to get, every time I sign up for something, tend to get a new flurry of random calls from people selling me, usually energy deals and things like that. But yeah, but like there is definitely a correlation between me giving my details on a website for something, and then the next 6 weeks I tend to get an influx of extra calls. Yeah, no real hard guess to work out how that all works. All right, so look, as far as scrap's concerned, yeah, not a hell of a lot. It's not worth scrapping for copper per se, because the only real copper, there's a little tiny bit of wiring there, and there's a bit of wiring inside. So I wouldn't go and break down a drill just for a tiny bit of copper. But I think the motor's, like I said, probably valuable, and I'm sure I'll find a use for some of these other things. And yeah, that chuck's going to go into my chuck collection now, because I'm starting to get a few of these. I'm starting to get older now, so I'm starting to get a few of these myself. And yeah, different sizes. But I've got another project later on, and I'll probably make a video for you. I ended up I had what's known as a micro lathe, and that was way too small. It did do a crude screw, but that was about it. The actual housing was aluminium. It was actually quite a fun little thing, and it ran off something like the power pack that this would use, this thing, to charge the battery. But then during COVID, I ended up Facebook Marketplace, and got myself a really good deal for a mini lathe. And the mini lathes are usually, well, over here in Australia, they're about 800 to 1500 for a mini lathe. And I got it cheap with all the accessories. I think it was about 300 because the motor had blown. But what I have been told on the internet, if I did a bit of research, and quite a few people, they all say the same thing. First thing to do is ditch the engine, ditch the motor, and put a different motor in there. So, yeah, the fact that it had a burnout motor meant, yeah, it still fit for purpose for what I wanted for. So I'm sure that, yeah, I'm sure some of this stuff will end up being utilised there. But if I end up doing the lathe, I'll put instalments in for as I go with the rebuild of the lathe, because you can't, if you've got a lathe, you can't just slap it together and run with it. You got to play with it. You got to build it. You got to add stuff. You got to come up with over-engineered little designs that, you know, I mean, somewhere to hang your keys and make some bang-dangled key hanger or something. I mean, it's my playground. It's my shed. I can do what I want. That's the way I look at it. It's my little fantasy world. It's my escape from reality. All right, so yeah, sorry it's been so long, guys. I intend to put a few more up soon, and yeah, look, I'm still feeling out which way the channel's going to go, but yeah, I think I'm just going to take it easy and just meander along with a few different teardowns and see how we go with that. I do have other projects in the works, and yes, I have just got into casting ingots. That's part of the reason why I haven't been doing videos. I mean, yeah, having fun with that. Molten metal. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to end up with some burns, but what the heck. Yeah, I'll probably give you all sorts of interesting updates on that as well. All right, guys, stay safe, be careful, and yeah, keep scrapping, keep recycling, keep coming up with ideas, and you know, don't be scared to make your own channel, because if I can do it, anyone can. So I mean, look, I'm just a bloke in the shed with a phone. You know, that's all I am. So, well, that's all I'm presenting through here anyway. Yeah, don't be scared to have a crack, because there's some really good stuff on the smaller scrapping channels. It's a really good community, and you know what? If anyone is out there who's got a channel and they've got under 1,000 subscribers, go have a look at them. Have a look, have a listen, see how they present themselves, and if you like them, a subscription to them it's just huge, absolutely huge, right? It really is. It's a big deal. I get so excited when I get another subscriber. It's really cool. But if you go out there and have a look, there's some really good people out there doing some really good stuff, and it's not really getting seen because everyone's getting back into life and, you know, a bit less time on screen time. But myself, have to say that entertainment-wise, movies don't seem to be what they used to be. I'd rather watch a YouTube tutorial than a movie now at night time. I know it could be my age, probably is, but then again, I might be onto something, and there might actually be really crap movies being made out there by the big production companies. Why is it that, you know, an independent little writer, screenplay, actor, he can come out and just produce like a really low budget film, and all of a sudden his movie's the talk of the town? And unfortunately it was a traumatic experience for him to go through and make that, but I'm talking about Baby Reindeer. Being told by so many people I've got to watch it. Apparently it's better than anything that's come out of Hollywood, so who knows? I think people are looking for something a little bit more closer to home than, you know, the escapism isn't as good as it used to be. All right, guys, waffling now. Signing off, and yeah, let me know. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know if there's something that you've discovered or you do differently. Yeah, if you feel up to it, please share. All right, guys, catch you next time.